Hello and welcome back to another Second Take podcast here on Life with Sav. And today I'm going to be breaking down the NBA 2021 trade deadline, which is now less than 48 hours away from closing. And there are a lot of breaking news to cover, as well as possible trades that could be going down in the next 48 hours. Jumping right into the trade mill, we're going to talk about the former number 2 pick in Lonzo Ball, currently on the New Orleans Pelicans. But like I said, the next 48 hours, we could see a lot of players moving into a lot of new homes, and Lonzo Ball might just be one of them. So far this season, averaging just over 14 points a game, just over 4 boards, and 5.5 assists a game. Lonzo Ball's efficiency has been the best it's been so far, as well as his greatest scoring efficiency and three-point making ability so far in his career. The 6'6" guard right now is making around $11 million a year, just over, and the Pelicans are looking to move him for a variety of different reasons. But the main reason I see the Pelicans trying to dish away Lonzo Ball is the main fact that they could not get a deal done prior to this season to try to extend his contract. So he most likely is going to walk away as a free agent. So as the Pelicans search the open market, they're going to try to trade Lonzo Ball, and he's been sitting the last 2 games with a hip flexor injury. But in my opinion, that must just be precautionary, trying to keep him sidelined, healthy, and available. That way the Pelicans can trade him away healthy and get the most value for their trade. Diving a little bit deeper into Lonzo Ball's stats so far this year, he's shooting almost a career best 42.5% from the field goal and just over 38% from 3, and was amongst the top shooters not only in the season, but in the month of February. He had one of his greatest efficiency months, and he's also shooting 76% free throw percentage from the line. And if he can keep both of those stat lines efficient and keep those numbers up, it will be his best free throw, field goal, and three-point percentage since entering the league. Lonzo has also asserted his dominance on the defensive end, which raises his value for a bunch of contending teams who need those defenders who can guard the 1 through 3 position. Lonzo, standing again at 6'6", can pretty much guard anyone in the guard position and even switch on to small forwards, making him a very versatile defender and available at all times on the defensive end. Teams that could be interested in Lonzo Ball and available in the cap space so far have been the Clippers, the Nuggets, and the Bulls, and as well as the Knicks. The Knicks have been in trade talks as well as free agency talks for Lonzo Ball. So it'll be really interesting to see if any of these teams can get a deal done last minute in the trade deadline to try to pick up Lonzo Ball. But my opinion on this is if he goes to somewhere like the Denver Nuggets, he will be another role player, obviously, but he could end up not starting. He could go behind Jamal Murray. But if he goes to the Clippers with their injuries to Patrick Beverley and other guards, he could end up getting a starting role for a period of time. But again, a role player who can be efficient, and so far he has proved he can shoot the 3. So it'll be really interesting to see where Lonzo Ball gets dished to. And for everybody who follows the Ball family and follows NBA basketball, the other day we all saw his brother LaMelo Ball go down with a fractured right wrist, and again, that's going to put him out for the season. So the free agency talks around Lonzo Ball are obviously very high. Is he going to go to Charlotte possibly, or is he going to try to stay where he is in New Orleans if they can't find a new home for him, or is he going to sign wherever he is traded? I guess it's an open-ended question, and that'll kind of close the Lonzo Ball trade rumor mill. Now moving on to my beloved Boston Celtics and their possible trade deadline moves that I think they need to make. And I think the major one that everyone has kind of been looking at in the last 2 days since the trade deadline has approached is power forward Aaron Gordon from the Orlando Magic. Again, the Celtics trying to make a move approaching this trade deadline. And I think Aaron Gordon is the perfect fit for the Boston Celtics. Gordon so far this year has averaged just over 14.5 points a game, 6.5 boards, and just over 4 assists. But it's his defense, athleticism, and ability to guard the center position as well as the power forward position that can really provide a spark for this Boston Celtics team that is much needed. Gordon's explosiveness on offense and versatility on defense are the 2 things the Boston Celtics need at this time. Their shooting generally comes from Jason Tatum as well as Jaylen Brown, but their ability to collect boards in second chance opportunities has been limited so far this year. But Aaron Gordon could be the solution to this problem. The Orlando Magic most likely will look for some draft picks and draft capital, but when it's all said and done, no one on the Boston Celtics roster is really safe. I think Marcus Smart could get dished, and I think a lot of prospects that we have drafted over the last few years are in jeopardy. It really depends on what the Orlando Magic are looking for and what their moves are going to be throughout this trade deadline. But again, Aaron Gordon has a great possibility to become a Boston Celtic in the next 48 hours. Even that being said, however, Harrison Barnes could also be making his way over to Boston. Right now in Sacramento, Harrison Barnes is averaging 16 a game with just 6.5 rebounds as well as 3.5 assists a game. But again, the Boston Celtics could use him as a power forward center position, somebody who can guard pretty much 3 through 5 and is versatile on the defensive and offensive end. Although his offensive game is nothing like Aaron Gordon's, he does bring a spark and a splash to this Boston Celtics offense that has seemed to struggle at times. But more importantly, he can be another power forward or center position to grab boards while Daniel rotates out with Tristan Thompson. But again, another splash opportunity here for the Boston Celtics as the trade deadline approaches. But a fact I want all Boston Celtics fans to note is we have not made a move in the NBA trade deadline since the year 2015. So again, Danny Ainge not ready to pull the trigger quite yet, but we'll see if the Boston Celtics make a move. That's going to be all for this episode of Second Take here, talking about the NBA trade deadline. Thank you for watching. Hope you like, subscribe, and tune in for more.